Alright, what's up everybody? All you game changers, young hustlers, entrepreneurs. I am here with the Millennial mentor, my boy, Gerard Adams. We've had an amazing time here at Founders already. And of course, our number one focus today is adding massive value to you guys hungry enough to listen, to take action. And Gerard's a young millionaire who really became a self-made millionaire when he was 24, built a company called Elite Daily, who you guys have probably heard of, up to really a huge game-changing media platform, and now he's doing even bigger things, trying to change the game. And what I like about Gerard is he's shifting our culture one entrepreneur at a time. I've seen the culture here at Founders, it's amazing, so always good, man, always fun with you.
Pleasure, dude. You guys, you killed it today.
We had fun.
If you guys haven't seen the footage yet, make sure to go to the YouTube channel, Peter's YouTube channel, Gerard Adams TV YouTube channel, because today was absolutely epic, man. We started off the day talking about grind, hustle, how important that really is, and then Peter took over and really broke down all of the real practical steps, 6 months to six figures, which I thought was super valuable for all the entrepreneurs here, compared to a lot of people who just want to come and give like motivational rah-rah. Peter really broke down actionable steps that the entrepreneurs were able to really take and implement now into their businesses. So that was a sick day, dude. I loved it.
Thanks for having me. So let's dive in. I want to know what's been on your mind. We talked today, a couple minutes ago, in your car about culture and how important it is. We both ran big organizations where we've probably seen the culture not be amazing.
Yeah.
And we've seen the difference in the results, in the success, and the influence when you have a good culture. And I think when you have a good culture, you don't have to persuade anybody to do anything, right? So I want to dive on culture because there's not that much content online about how to really build a dynamic team and build a culture. So what are your thoughts on culture? What's the importance? What have you done to create a culture?
You know, I mean, so I know what it's like to be a solo entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur out there and kind of feel, you know, that you kind of have to motivate yourself. And, you know, I like to call it finding the leader within, because it all stems from there. And I've been there where I've had to build my first companies in an apartment by myself in my parents' basement when I first started. Like all those moments I remember when I first became an entrepreneur, and I pretty much was alone. And I kind of had to learn how to become like a leader for myself. But I feel that even though overcoming that initial fear of pushing myself and like finding that leader within was, you know, crucial to me, like taking those first initial steps to becoming, you know, the entrepreneur I am today. I really didn't gain the like massive, like true success until I really knew how to lead a team. And then with Elite Daily.
Hold on, I'm gonna hit that because I want you guys to catch this. There's only so far you can go just by yourself. Yeah. It's one thing to be successful as an entrepreneur, and that's fun. It's fulfilling for a second. I don't know about you, maybe it's the same for you. I get way more excitement when I see other people I've helped succeed. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%.
It's way more fulfilling, but then you also can build your business, scale it, and exponentially grow it versus do it as much as you can with your strengths, and then you're kind of capped out, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm glad you said that, because you can only go so far as being like a Superman syndrome, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, a lot of it plays also like into ego, you know, and like knowing that when you have something great, it's bigger than yourself. You know, there's only so far you can take it, but if you truly want to be a game changer, you truly want to see that, like, you know, that success that is, you know, extraordinary, not just the average success that's out there. And it's okay, like you talk about this all the time, like it's okay to have like you know, that success that, you know, still gives you freedom, you're happy about it. But, you know, for me, I always wanted that like extraordinary, strive more success. And it's about like leading a team and building that right culture. And, you know, there's no better feeling in the world, like just to get real quickly, talking about how good that feels. When I sold Elite Daily, I ended up going to Thailand and just coincidentally bumping into my CTO, who grinded with me when we first started the company. And he had early on, shares options as an employee that was gifted to him for the hard work that he put in. And this guy, after selling the company, coincidentally bumps into me in Thailand. He was traveling the whole world, just completely enjoying his life, you know. And it was like, damn, dude, like what an amazing feeling to know that, like, because of the the vision, you know, to help build out that team. You know, that was like for me the most fulfilling part of it. It wasn't like the millions getting wired into my bank account. It was like knowing like here's one individual amongst like a team of 200 that now were able to leverage this success for themselves and do what they want in their lives. It was just like, I was one of the best moments I've ever had as an entrepreneur.
And you talked about it on the mixtape, on my mixtape too, is you thought it was just about the money when you were younger, as I did, as probably a lot of people watching.
For me, in the beginning, money was everything. It was like, all I cared about was becoming rich. I just dreamt of being able to do what I wanted, when I wanted, how I wanted, with whoever I wanted. You know, money was the mission.
And here's a scary thing, guys, that I want to tell you guys. When you don't have money, you think money's everything. That's the thing. It's scary. It's not. If you can skip that stage and kind of mature up and focus on legacy and impact and doing the right things all the time, money will come.
Yeah.
But even more than that, when you get the money, you're not going to stop. You're not going to be fully fulfilled until you really reach that potential, that vision for you. It was selling daily, doing something bigger. So it's interesting how you said that you thought money was everything, and then you got the money, then you're like, shit, it's not everything.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about that? It's like, it wasn't actually getting the money as an entrepreneur. Like when I first made my first million, and then like, because I have the millions now, I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, oh, money ain't shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good now. Like, now I want to make more. It actually took me making the millions and then losing it all.
There we go.
That's when I realized, whoa.
How do you lose millions? Let's go.
Yeah, do you want to hear that story? No problem.
Let's get real.
1 second, I want to fix your mic. It's hanging down.
Brotherly love.
There you go.
Perfect. So
so
a lot of people right now, we're trying to help them be able to make millions. Some can't even make millions. You can make it and lose it.
Yeah.
And then make it back.
Yeah.
So that's a skill, man. So let's dive in. So how'd you don't need to give details on what you did each night.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. give me some. So if you had to simplify why, now let me ask you this: you wouldn't regret it, would you? Losing?
No way.
Why?
It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, even to this day, I mean, look, you can't have the good without the bad. All of the moments in my life where I've battled, I've hit like walls, I felt like giving up, or like something I feel was taken from me, or, something unexpected happened, or I was trying something that I was uncomfortable with. Like, all moments that were just like, I went through my life were, it was adversity, have just completely made me stronger as an entrepreneur. There's no doubt about it. That's what, and everyone says that, you can't, anyone who says that, just get rich quick, overnight success, and they did it without falling down and knowing how to get back up or help others get back up along the way, in my opinion, they don't have the real meaning of success.
For sure. So losing millions.
So
they're probably thinking, let's talk about the losing millions.
Yeah, for sure. So real quick, I mean, I don't want to give the whole, I'll simplify it, right? So real quick, when I started my first career, I started an online community because I wanted to learn how to invest into stocks. My first thing was like money, I want to make money. I grew up like really interested in Wall Street, this financial matrix, so I wanted to learn about it, so I built, and to this day I use this model, right? I created a solution to a problem that I'm facing. So that for me it was like, how do I build an online community of people that are trading and investing in stocks so I can find out who's really good? And I stole the rating system from eBay. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna hire a coder, build a rating system. I'm gonna freaking market the hell out of this website to get traders on the website. They're all gonna rank each other, and I'm gonna know whoever's 4 to 5 stars, gold stars, is actually a guru. And then they're gonna become like my mentors online to teach me how to trade. It worked. I got like 10,000 initial members. One day I get a phone call. Now I created this because I wanted to learn more than anything. But then I get a phone call from a CEO and he's like, hey, I want to advertise with you. So I was like, holy crap, like I can now, monetize this and leverage this to make money. Well, that led me to my first really big failure. I ended up helping that company have the largest shareholder base out of any publicly traded stock. And I did that.
Advertising?
No, actually, because the CEO thought I was one of the pioneers of using digital media to help get exposure for these small cap companies that back then were not using digital media. They were doing more traditional type of marketing.
You didn't know they were using you for that as much.
I didn't, but he became a mentor. He taught me public relations. He taught me what's called investor relations, right? And he taught me how to understand fundamentals, how to read income statements, balance sheets, how to story tell, how to write, how to figure out trends and unique angles to be able to tell a story, and how to just hustle. Like, I was on the phone constantly talking to potential investors, sending them information on the company. Anyways, killed it, right? One day I decided to hold the first ever live public demonstration of the product. It was called the nano battery. It was reinventing the battery using nanotechnology. I handled everything. I got the stage, I booked a place in New York City, I got the media in the room, investment bankers, brokers. This was the moment that I was waiting for and the company was waiting for, because once they proved the concept of this nano battery, they were going to be able to raise millions and millions of dollars to take it into mass production. Well, that day, I'm nervous, never did public speaking. I look like a baby, I'm like 18 years old. I went up there, I got through it, I introduced the chief scientist officer. He goes to prove out this concept. What do you think happens? Classic, right? Failure. So that was the first moment of real adversity. It wasn't the million story. But what it did was, I'm just giving you an example. From that moment, I thought that my career was over. All the hard work I put in up until that moment.
Most people don't know that story or do that.
No.
Yeah.
So that happened, and what I did was I said, you know what? I'm not gonna let this stop me. If I was able to get all these people in this room right now.
Did you think that really right away, or was there a moment?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, because they think you're Superman, like you thought.
No way. I went
into
depression.
Okay, there we go.
I was like, dude, oh my God, my career's over. Everything I did for this company, everything I built, my website, all this stuff, I'm gonna lose all my credibility, and it took a little time, but the trigger for me was some people started reaching out to me. I got a business card from someone. A couple of people emailed me and said, hey kid, I'm surprised you got me in the room. Call me. And I just started saying to myself, you know what? I learned a lot. And if I was able to get all these people paying attention to something, I got a skill. And even though it didn't work with that company because the management wasn't prepared, I better really focus on mastering that skill of digital, media and marketing, and see if I can help other companies. So I started hustling my ass off, literally till 4 or 5 in the morning every day, all day, every day, and I printed out stacks of every public company that existed that was a small cap company, and I literally freaking dialed, faxed, emailed every one of them to give me a chance to now help market them. I started with $1,000. So now I built that company up. I got my first 1,000, turned that into a $10 million a year revenue business by the time I was 24. I freaking overperformed for my clients, built up a great clientele.
And now you have more hunger and more to prove because you failed at your other one.
Yeah, but then my big loss happened. I got really overly confident. And then I started believing in my research so much, I started taking all the money I was making in my agency and I started investing it into public companies based upon my research. And I had a couple multi-million-dollar trades. So now I'm on top of the world. Right? I buy Bentleys. I'm like young stunner. I think I'm on top of the world. I got my penthouse now. I bought my first Rolex Presidential. I was all about the money. I'm a young millionaire. I'm good. I'm surprising my little sister with a car on her 17th birthday. Like, I'm feeling so good. And I started really, my whole thing was like forecasting trends. So I placed an investment into a company that hold the patents for TV everywhere. It was the company that held the patents for us streaming content on our smartphones and iPads and devices, which now is so huge with Netflix. But my timing was off and the market crashed. And I was up $20 million on that investment and I didn't cash out. And when the market crashed, I lost it all.
So not some.
No, I lost I would say 95% of it. I was able to get out whatever, hardly anything left. And that was the moment where I went from being on top of the world, thinking I am Superman, to having a complete freaking, check, ego check. I mean, you name it.
Were you letting money define you, or were you just not even thinking about that? You were just having so much fun that you didn't even think about, what if I lose this? You weren't planning ahead, or you know what I mean? What was it that got you to go from?
I think it was ego, dude. Honestly, I really do. I think confidence is one thing. It's, yeah. I mean, I've now been able to master confidence, but know the difference between ego and confidence. Not thinking you know it all, because as soon as you think you do, it's like Mike Tyson, bro. Before you know it, you're gonna get hit, and you got to know how you can withstand those hits, And I didn't expect it, and that was tough. That's when I said to myself, anything can happen. Money can come and go. But that's when I realized they can't take the shirt off my back. They can't take what's up here or what's in here. And then I learned from a story about my mother. If it wasn't for my mother, I wouldn't have got through that. My mother told me that they lived here in Newark in a studio apartment, family of 6. She walked home from school. She was only like 14, 15 years old. And the studio apartment caught on fire and they lost everything. I didn't know this story until this moment when this all happened. She was 14, 15. She told me this after I was like completely depressed that I lost everything. And I didn't want nobody knowing. I was like I was like, oh my God. Like, fuck.
I still want my Bentley.
I still want, what am I gonna do? And my mom told me that story and she said, if I was able to, she dropped out of school to get a job in Canal Street, had to beg a teacher to approve it so that she can just help bring in a little bit extra money to put food on the table. And she said, if I was able to help rebuild, you know, she was the oldest of all the brothers and sisters, my uncles and aunts. And now I have 2 beautiful sisters and have a roof over your heads and help, you know, raise you. You best believe you better get back out there and do it again. And that's the only kick I needed.
Shifted your perspective.
It shifted my perspective that, you know what, if I did it once, I could do it again, just like that first failure.
So what's the different mindsets you have now making money to back then? Where is it now like you're more strategic, you think things through, you're investing intelligently?
Yeah. What's the difference? It's the
now?
long-term mindset. For me, any move I make, I'm not playing like checkers, I'm playing chess. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking 3 steps ahead. I'm thinking about like, how am I gonna continue to always be thinking ahead, and just like I've become a lot more disciplined. An entrepreneur, you need to have that discipline. I've become a lot more patient, you know, and realizing that like, you know, I'd rather create exponential value over a long period of time and sacrifice the money, knowing that over time I'll make a bigger, like with Elite Daily. I didn't take a salary for 3.5, 4 years. Did not take a salary.
Because you were building.
Because I was building, and that got me a $50 million exit, and in two wires. Sorry.
So we were just talking about it. I don't think a lot of millennials have that patience. They want it now.
Yeah.
And it's the instant pleasure versus the really thinking things through. Because I think what changed my game too is thinking about what I'm doing, what do I need to do now to make sure I have more freedom, more value, a better company in the future, 5, 6 years from now.
Yes.
So let's go through. I want to go through the best, most valuable skills a young millennial must have to thrive in this new economy. Because we've talked about your perspective shifts, how you went broke to build it back up to $1 million, which is amazing. So what are the must-haves, skill-wise, mindset-wise, for a millennial or for anybody watching that's serious? Because honestly, guys, you know, everyone you talk to, if you ask them if they're going to be successful in a couple years, all of them say yes.
Yeah.
They're all confident. They're all talking a great game. If you fast forward a year, 2, 3 years, 4 or 5 of them out of 100 are actually really succeeding.
Yeah.
They're still talking. So let's help them separate themselves from the majority. What's the skills needed right now they need to develop to get to the 5, 10, 15% of entrepreneurs? Really make it happen.
You know, I'll go through them with you. I mean, I don't have like this this memorized list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ring them all, keep it real. I mean, the
From
first
what you've seen and what you had, what you've seen people have that are young hustlers.
Yeah, I mean, the first, obviously, just get it out of the way. We all talk about it. It's something that you are very passionate about. The confidence, the confidence, and I think that plays right into like having the courage. To just like no matter what. I talk about this to the entrepreneurs here. I like to think that I could run through a brick wall. I don't know why, that's like what I envision. Some people might want to think you can fly or whatever your superpower really is. For me, I look at life and I say like no matter what fucking life throws at me, I'm going to drive through it, whatever adversity it is. And I have that confidence that like I know no matter what, I'll get through it and I will push through and I'll learn from it regardless. So having that confidence, having that courage, having commitment. A lot of entrepreneurs, millennials, lack commitment. They want instant gratification, somewhat. And this may be something we could debate because I know, you may have your own opinion on this. But I do feel that millennials a lot of times are just impatient. They want it now, and it takes a lot of patience. And it takes commitment, knowing that like you can't give up just because it's not working in the first, month, 3 months, 6 months. It's gonna take time. I honestly, for me, most of my businesses take 2 years to really get where I'm like reinvesting and doubling down and scaling. Now, that's for me. For other people, shit, they're able to really experiment, test quickly, and within like 3 weeks, be able to know they got something going, you know? But for me, it could take up to 2 years of consistently providing value and not getting a return back on my investment, but then boom, all of a sudden, 2.5 years, 3 years, compound, 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 you know, and it fucking all of a sudden you got a freaking, you know, millions and millions and millions of dollars that are compounding for you because you put in all of that work and you were really, really patient and you were committed to that vision. No matter what, you were committed.
I see entrepreneurs commit a lot of times until they get hit in the face.
Right.
Then they back up.
Yeah.
Like I said downstairs, if you have 1% doubt as an entrepreneur, you're going to take the doubt every time.
Yep.
So how do you keep the commitment through all the tough times? Is it all your past failures? Is it your mom saying this? Is it knowing in your head that failure is part of success? Because I think it's a perspective shift where now I know if I fail, bring it on.
Yeah.
That gives me a sharper perspective, and I've never seen someone succeed without failure.
100%.
So is it a perspective shift?
Yeah.
That's Caleb. So for you, what are some tactics to stay committed? I don't even really think there's tactics.
Right.
It's just grit. It's hustle.
Yeah.
But how do you stay committed when shit's not going your way? When everything's going wrong, no one's believing in you, people are doubting you, your business is going this way and you want to go this way. How do you stay focused?
Yeah. You know, it's too.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, it is a hard question. I mean, look, you have to become your own psychologist. You have to have blind faith and just faith in general. You know, like I have faith. You know, I have faith in that, you know, what I'm working towards is something is bigger than me. You know, I genuinely like to believe that, you know, when you start thinking about people in the world that have made real legacy, right? Think about their life story and like, what did it come easy to them? Like at what point in their life? Like we have an opportunity as millennials to start making legacy in our fucking 20s, in our fucking teens. Like, are you kidding me?
Never before been possible.
Like billionaires in past generations, it's taken them like legitimately like decades until they're like 60, 70 years old. You know what I mean? And now we have the ability to become like millionaires and billionaires like in our fucking 20s and do what we want, when we want, how we want. It's never been a greater time to start focusing on that and knowing that it is possible in that legacy. And you just gotta psych yourself out. You gotta become that psychologist. Like, you know what? I'm building my legacy. And you know what? Every little thing that life throws at me is part of my story. Everything that I dream of is already mine, but I'm on the journey to get it. It's already mine. I'm on the journey to get it. So the more shit that happens to you, you gotta be like, that's a blessing. Because the greater your story is gonna be when you finally get to the top of the mountain. And the more shit that you go through, I wish I went through more shit. I actually want more failures. I actually want more haters. You know what I'm saying? Like, bring it the fuck on.
Woo! All the haters comment below. I love that because I just realized that I had an aha moment like a year ago where there was like a model / actor, super popular. I can't remember her name. Might have been Blake Lively, actually. Anyways, not my breakthrough, but just was like an aha moment where she was talking about, yeah, I had a tough past and something happened to my family where this, and I'm like, shocker. Of course she had a tough past. Of course she did. You'll never find someone that had an easy past with massive hunger. Good luck finding any hunger in kids that have everything given to them.
Yeah.
I had an okay childhood. We didn't struggle, and I was hungry, but I didn't get my real hunger till I went dead broke and I failed.
Oh yeah.
And I'll never leave that hunger because I can't stand the feeling of not being in control, not having choices, being broke. So if you haven't gone through failures, you need to level up. You need to go through failures. You need to reach out, get out of your comfort zone. Like you just said, you wish you had more failures. The more failures you have when you're younger, the more developed and the more success-minded you become when you're older.
100%.
I don't think, to be honest, I don't think a lot of people's parents or our parents or other generations have gone through enough failures to where they're really developed. Some have, but some haven't.
Yeah.
So I think going through failures is a huge key. So
and then you have regret. You know, like,
did I really give
my all? You know, if you're not making mistakes, you're not moving forward. That's just, you know, that's just the truth. You know, it's part of the game with entrepreneurship. You gotta be experimenting, making mistakes. We do something here called Failing Forward at Founders, where it's like every Friday we all step up, we talk about our failures, we talk about how to push each other forward through them, because it's part of the process, it's part of the game. You got to just accept it. If you're an entrepreneur, accept that process, that it's going to take that.
Now, when it comes to failures, talking a lot, perspective shifts like we're talking about, where do you draw the line? Because I see a lot of entrepreneurs, fake entrepreneurs. Now, you can't really say they're fake if they're wanting to be entrepreneurs, but a lot of people are not entrepreneurs because they're 9 to 5 and they're not doing what it takes. Where do you see the line between the entrepreneurs and the real entrepreneurs making a difference?
Right. It's, again, we talked about commitment. It's about being like all in. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that, it's more of a hobby. You know what I mean? Like, or you know what I see? I'll see someone's Instagram profile and it'll be like, I'm the CEO of like four projects. You know what I mean? And it's like,
and none of them make money.
You think that you look like, I don't know, maybe you think you look cooler, or maybe you think you look more successful because you're putting up more shit. And trust me, like I'm victim to that. Like 100%. I've tried to do way too much in my career. There's definitely been times when I've tried to do too much. And I've learned from my mistakes. But it's truly, if you want to be like an ultimately game-changing entrepreneur, really go all in on something. Like really go all in.
Obsession.
Yeah, it's
like
gotta
you think
be.
About it, you sleep at night thinking about it, you wake up thinking about it. Like we talked about earlier, as far as there's not really a balance in entrepreneurship. It's like you're all in.
Well, the thing is too, I like to mention it. I do bring up the sense of like if you're a founder in a way, entrepreneur. But entrepreneurship is totally, is totally a lifestyle and mindset. It doesn't necessarily mean that you even have to be the CEO of a company. Like every bit of where you're at in your life, being a part of a team and all that, but just like how you live your life. You know what I mean? Yep. And you know that better than anybody. Mind, the way you take care of your body, the way that you push yourself every day, the way you feed yourself knowledge, the way you seek mentorship, and you seek to get the best out of yourself every single day, I think, is truly an entrepreneur.
And you could see how bad they want it by a lot of times their results. Like you were talking about too, even with people and founders, you can see who's putting in the work by checking the results every week.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to find out who's really we're gonna find out this week who really doesn't have what it takes, says they want it but not willing to put in that work. And you know what? Cool, but we don't got time for that. Like, and going back to when we started this conversation, culture, I mean, you know this better than anybody else. Like, you gotta like set the standard. You gotta, if there's someone who's a cancer who's kind of like just coming in, we're gonna start calling it now founders groupies and then founders game changers. That's just what it is. We don't have time for groupies. We all need to be pushing each other. And really holding yourself accountable to that standard.
And it starts with the person that the company it is. You have to hold yourself to high standards if you want your team to be on high standards.
Oh yeah.
So we talked about some philosophies. We'll end with a couple more habits that you think millennials need to develop that are relevant right now. So commitment, confidence. Of course, we both talk about execution. Like I said earlier, here's the reality. If it's easy, you don't want it, and it's not that valuable. So anybody these days can read a book. We both preach reading books, but anyone can read a book.
Yeah.
Anyone can listen to a podcast.
Oh yeah.
Anyone can wake up early, but not everyone can execute on what actually matters and what's relevant to their business.
Yeah.
So execution is the big one. Can you execute consistently? Can you stay the course even if no one's approving of your idea or of your business, right?
Yeah.
Any other skills that you feel you had that you see people that separate? Like if you had the closest 100 entrepreneurs that you've ever seen that are young, right here, what separated 5 of them from all 95% that crushed it?
Right.
So confidence, mindset, action, what else?
Action. I mean, that's dear to my heart, which is leadership.
Yeah.
That's
a differentiator.
You need to be a leader in all aspects. Like, I remember growing up, even, playing football, I always wanted to be the starting receiver. You know, but I wasn't tall enough. I wasn't big enough. I wasn't strong enough. But you know what?
You're like 6'3", dude.
Yeah, right. I wish. But
we're both 6'3". You guys don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going.
So, you know, no matter what, I showed up to practice, rain or shine, mud or whatever, grit, and I freaking took the hits. I was always in the locker room, a voice to my team, pushing my team. And you know, I carried that type of, you know, leadership qualities throughout my whole life. You know, and I think like if you truly want to be a game changer, how good of a leader can you be to get people to truly align to you as a visionary? To really be able to, not when you're around, but when you're not around, are they leading that team? Are they picking up on the same values that you hold as the leader? You know, so.
Now let me ask you this: Did your leadership pay off a lot in school, or did it more pay off when you were an entrepreneur? We talked
great
about that.
Question. Yeah, it totally does not pay off when you're in school, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I had fucking haters. People thought like, what does he think he know? You know, this, that, and the third. It just always was like that. Like in high school, when you're like super young and you try to be like a leader, a lot of people are gonna hate on you, man. It's just the truth, in my opinion. Yeah. You know, but
when you became an entrepreneur, it really paid off.
Oh, it really paid off. So I want people
to understand, if they're in a stage where it's not paying off, just put in the work and just keep staying the course.
You'll attract the right people. You know what I mean? Like at first, people around you, they're probably not on the same, they don't have the same ambition as you. So at the end of the day, what's gonna happen? They're gonna start doubting you. They're gonna start talking shit. They're gonna start acting, you know, a certain way. But it's only because they are not on that same level as you. That's okay. People will say you changed. You know the saying, right? But at the end of the day, why are you working so hard? You know, not to stay the same, to continue to grow. And some people are not going to be at that same level, but eventually you will attract the right people. With founders, I felt that way. I had to be a leader to be the first one here. When this place was just dirt, wood. I was in the middle of Central Ward of Newark in the hood, right? And it was like, what the hell is he doing? But I stayed the course. I showed up as a leader every day. You know what I'm saying? I helped build this place out every single day. And eventually, I think Keith Ferrazzi said this great, you know, you build it, they will come. And if you're a great leader, you will attract the right team around you.
And it takes a while. You've been hustling for a long time. And here's what you have to understand if you're building a team and a culture. You have to still put in the work without getting people's approval. And you have to realize that eventually if you stay the course, you stay yourself, you're fully authentic, and you just be yourself, the right people will be attracted and the wrong people will stay away. When you have a polarizing point of view and a dynamic point of view like you have and I have, a lot of people are going to be kind of pushed away because they don't fully support what you do.
Yeah.
But the right people will be even stronger with you, and you can't fear people. And here's the reality: half are going to hate you, half are going to love you. But when you have a good point of view, the right ones are going to be even stronger towards you. You know what I mean? I'd rather be loved or hated than tolerated.
Yeah.
Any day. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So for you, and I want you to give a message to millennials. Like if we're speaking to 50,000 millennials in a stadium and we're speaking to our younger self, what's the message? I know we gave so much content as far as earlier this morning. We've had a lot of conversations. I don't know what's which. But what's your message, a simple message to millennials that really, not the ones that are the groupies that talk a lot, but the real ones listening that have that deep gut hunger inside that they really want to be a game changer, but no one's really giving them the guidance.
Look, I'm an older millennial. That's the truth. You know what I mean? Like, for all the millennials that are out there listening to this, you know, I'm on the older cusp. I was blessed to have been part of this millennial generation, grown up in this era, but I remember growing up when I didn't have this. I had a beeper. You know what I'm saying? Then I had the fucking flip phone, Nokia. You know, I had dial-up internet.
Like, you write notes in middle school?
Oh, if I liked a girl, I wrote a fucking note. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up, and I grew up in that time. Like, I was an outdoors kid. I was a skater, BMXer. Like, I was always outdoors and stuff. You know, I would never change anything in the world. But everyone, like, the millennials watching this, this is it. Like, this is just your time. I mean, you have so many resources right now, and you have the ability. I think we are the greatest generation of all time to truly, like, make history, to really build a legacy, to really truly have success early on in your life, and be able to have the freedom that I've been blessed to have. You know, I can do whatever I want, I can do. You know, I can go and, you know, get what I want, when I want, travel what I want. I have a beautiful family. I have love in my life. I take care, like everything I've ever dreamed of, I have that, and you can too. But you need to be able to 100% be willing to make the sacrifice now in the short term for the long term, and truly start to think about like what is really meaningful in your life. You know, are you willing to sacrifice the going out and the partying and the sense of significance that probably everyone else around you is looking for, to really invest into yourself right now at this very moment in your life? And what are you willing to do? Are you willing to do whatever it takes moving forward today, tomorrow, so that you can have ultimately the success that, you know, hopefully is way bigger than me. You can have the success that, you know, we all strive for in life. You can die one day knowing that you've left a legacy not only for yourself, but for like generations to come.
Love it, man. You got to hustle for your last name, not your first. Well, you heard it from Gerard, the Millennial Mentor. I'm extremely excited to be here with you, man, adding value.
Yeah, killed it today.
I mean, that's a wrap.
Sweet.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.